flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Good evening, everyone. This evening we're going to be doing things a little bit different today. Usually we start with the speakers list first, but tonight we're going to be doing our referrals and legislation first, and then we're going to move into our speakers list. Just to let you know, we have 2 exits, one in the front, one in the back, in case of emergencies. Each person who comes up to speak is going to get 4 minutes to speak when we start that section. The buzzer will sound off in 3 minutes. And after 3 minutes, the buzzer will sound off. You would have 1 more minute to wrap up your thoughts so that you can finish your comments. So we welcome you all being here. We're happy that you're here. At this time, we're going to start and go right into our referral session. Starting with legislation and public works.
Item number 5 is on the agenda. Item number 6 is on the agenda. Item number 7 is called for. Items 8 and 9 are on the agenda. Item 10 is called for. Items 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34 are all for information. 35 is called for. 36 and 37 are held. 38 is called for. 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 54, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, and 68 are all for information. Item 69 is on the agenda. Item 70 is on the agenda. Item 71 is on the agenda. And 84, sequential order through 107 are all for information. There's one item that was not on the tally sheet, and that's also on the agenda as item number okay, yes. So it's on the agenda as item number 4, as well as an add-on, which is on the agenda as item number 28. Okay, there is item number 1 on the agenda, which was not as part of our referral package, not moved by the committee to be on the agenda, so that will not be on the agenda.
What time was that?
Item number 1. Correct, on the agenda. Item number 1 on the agenda. And that completes my report.
So one other thing, Councilwoman, you said that item number 28.
You said that you had item number 28. I see that one, but there was another one that you were adding. I didn't see. Is that one rated as something else?
Yeah, there was an item that at the last meeting, we had, we wanted to put on the agenda pending certain responses, but we did not receive responses in time. That was for the Portuguese American Warriors event on June 30th.
Okay.
So subsequently, we've gotten the amendments from the department heads. But for some reason, it didn't make it on the tally sheet, but it is on the agenda as item number 4.
Okay. Fine. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening. Item number 72 is on the agenda. Item number 73 is on the agenda. Item number 74 is called for. 75 is on the agenda. 76 is on the agenda. 78 is on the agenda. 79 is on the agenda. 81 and 82 are called for. And I believe there's one add-on, which is enumerated as item number 19. It's the disability amendment to the code.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you. Public safety and codes.
Thank you for public safety and codes. Item number 16, 17, and 19 are called for. Item 55 is for information. Item 80 is called for, and that completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Finance and planning.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item 1 is on the agenda. Items 2, 3, 4, 11, 12, 13 are for information. Items 14 and 15 are on the agenda. Item 18 is for information. Items 44, 45, and 46 are being called for. Item 47 is for information. 48 is for information. 49 is on the agenda. Item 50 is for information.
Excuse me, Councilman.
Yes.
48, I had call for. Are you changing that to information?
Yes, 48 is being called for. Thank you. 49 is on the agenda. Items 50 and 51 are both for information. 52 is being called for. 53 is on the agenda. And 83, I believe, is being called for.
It was pending.
It's on the agenda.
It is on the agenda?
Yes. Items
It's on the agenda, pending.
25. We know what it is, items
Oh, yeah.
24 and 25.
24 and 25.
So it's on the agenda.
It is.
Okay, so it's on the agenda. Thank you.
Cool. Clerk Carter, can I facilitate a roll call?
Councilwoman Copeland. Let the record reflect that Councilwoman Copeland is absent. With the excused Councilwoman Duarte.
Present.
Councilwoman Farquharson.
Here.
Councilman Griffith.
Here.
Council President Wallace.
Here. Legislation and Public Works.
Thank you, Council President. As I stated when we went through our referrals, we are not advocating item number 1 that was not moved by the committee and not, so should not be on the agenda. Item number 2, I have an ordinance granting permission to Grace Baptist Church to host a block party and to the Department of Public Safety to close South 6th Avenue between West 1st Street and West 2nd Street on June 15th with a rain date of June 22nd. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Anna, roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Aye.
Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
Item number 3, I have an ordinance granting permission to the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor a Stop the Violence Snug basketball tournament with Family Services of Westchester's Snug program on June 22nd. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Anna, roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Aye.
Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
Item number 4, I have an ordinance granting permission to Luciadas Inc. to utilize Stevens Avenue between Roosevelt Square and Granson Avenue for the parking of 100 motorcycles for an event on June 30th. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Anna, roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Aye.
Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
granting permission to Grace Baptist Church to hold a 5-kilometer run/walk event on July 13th with a rain date of July 20th. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferguson,
Aye.
Councilman Griffith,
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
Item number 6, I have an ordinance granting permission to Ambassadors for Christ Outreach Ministry, Inc., AFCOM, to hold the 13th Annual Youth and Family Community Initiative on July 27th. So moved.
Second.
On the question?
Councilwoman Duarte,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferguson,
Aye.
Councilman Griffith,
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
Item number 7, I have an ordinance granting permission to the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor a community event day with the Good Neighbors Block Association on July 27th with a rain date of August 3rd. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferguson,
Aye.
Councilman Griffith,
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
Item number 8, I have an ordinance granting permission to Jermaine Shelley to close 10th Avenue between 3rd Street and 2nd Street to hold a block party on August 3rd with a rain date of August 10th. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferguson,
Aye.
Councilman Griffith,
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
Item number 9, I have an ordinance granting permission to the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor a Living My Best Life health fair with T. Frazier Productions scheduled on August 24th. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferguson,
Aye.
Councilman Griffith,
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
Item number 10, I have a resolution appointing members to the Board of Ethics of the City of Mount Vernon for 2 positions, their term starting in July. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferguson,
Aye.
Councilman Griffith,
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
I have an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinance.
May I, Councilwoman, read the mayor's veto letter? to
Oh,
the-
sorry.
You're right, yes. A letter from the mayor dated May 31st, 2019. Veto of items 20 and 21 from the May 22nd, 2019 City Council meeting. Per the Mount Vernon City Charter, item 20, an ordinance authorizing the City Council to retain the firm of Cleary Consulting is vetoed. As per the Mount Vernon City Charter, the City Council should make it clear that this is consulting and not legal counsel. Per the Mount Vernon City Charter, item 21, an ordinance amending the Code of the Ordinances of the City of Mount Vernon by amending Chapter 256 to add 296.9.1, alternate side of the street cleaning parking regulations is vetoed. Under the Mount Vernon City Code, Chapter 227-59, the authority to make changes to the regulations regarding street cleaning and alternate side of the street parking is vested in the Commissioner of Public Works and the Police Commissioner. Amending this code is a violation of the Mount Vernon City Charter in letter and in spirit. I look forward to holding public forums with the community and local police and DPW commissioners to find a resolution that best both serves the residents and continues to provide the quality of experience of service expected from the mayor.
Okay, so let me just clarify this, first. So that's where we have it on record. So the mayor is vetoing a parking regulation that allow people to not have to worry about moving their car at 8 o'clock. They can now move it at 9 o'clock. So he wants them to still move their car at 8 o'clock and build up tickets. Is that correct?
Correct, Council President Wallace. The mayor vetoed in one letter 2 different items or pieces of legislation. The first was for the council to retain a planning consultant, and the second was to amend street cleaning hours. So the ordinance that was adopted by this council changed the street cleaning time from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. to 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And we vetoed that.
Okay, so let the record state, in fact, that the mayor is against changing it to relieve the taxpayers and continue to write outrageous amounts of tickets for people not moving their car and unwilling to give people time to move their car. Okay. Roll call. Oh. I'm sorry.
I have an ordinance amending the code of the ordinances, let's want to start over, this is a veto override. An ordinance amending the code of the ordinances of the city of Mount Vernon by amending chapter 256 to add section 256-9.1, alternate side of the street cleaning parking regulations. So moved.
Second.
On the question?
On the question, I would like to add that the mayor and I guess the commissioner at their discretion are popping up stop signs wherever the mayor, I guess, thinks it is advantageous at this time to pop up stop signs. Also, they find it possible to redirect streets in certain areas of the city of Mount Vernon without any planning or oversight from the council for redirecting streets. And that is something that should come before the city council to review, to do a planning analysis for, and a street analysis before these traffic conditions pop up. Because as much as people think stop signs are good, they could have a negative impact of the regular flow of traffic in the city of Mount Vernon. So stop signs and redirecting the streets, just because a few people requested it, is not the right thing for the overall health of the city of Mount Vernon. And it definitely shouldn't be done in a rushed effort during election season. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Roll call.
Roll call on number 11 to override the mayor's veto. Councilwoman Duarte.
My vote hasn't changed, and so it's no, and the reason for that is that I requested that we do a feasibility analysis before proceeding, and that was my reason. So, no.
Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
Item number 12 is a local law, and it's a second reading. A local law amending chapter 24, ethics, article 1, code of ethics, section 24-7, M and N of the Mount Vernon City Code entitled Board of Ethics. So moved.
On the question?
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
My reasons for objecting to this the last time haven't changed, nothing new, no new information has been provided, so my vote is no.
Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye. Human Resources.
Thank you, Council President. I have an ordinance authorizing the Department of Recreation to accept an award from Scots and Major League Baseball for $50,000 for Brush Park. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Aye.
Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
I have an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Westchester County Board of Legislators for the summer basketball camp. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Aye.
Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
I have an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Westchester County Department of Senior Programs and Services, Title something 3C and 3C-2, 3C-1, and 3C-2. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Aye.
Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
I have an ordinance granting permission to 8 Youth Bureau staff members and participants of the Mount Vernon Strong Program to travel to Washington, D.C. on 6/22. So moved.
On the question?
She said,
Yes.
yeah.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferguson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
I have an ordinance granting permission to 3 staff members to attend the 2019 Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Grantee Conference from 6/24 to 6/28. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferguson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
I have an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Westchester Putnam Workforce Development Board for the 2019 TANF Summer Youth Program. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferguson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
I have an ordinance amending Chapter 13 of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon entitled Mount Vernon Disability Advisory Board, which is a change from the Citizens Advisory Committee for the Disabled. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
I have one more, I have a question. I know that we were waiting for some, responses in terms of the department or elsewhere. Did we get those responses? Was this reviewed?
It was submitted to the legal department, yes it was.
And did we get an answer?
No, we didn't get a response from them. I have something to say, if she's done. Council President? Mayor? So I just wanted to acknowledge the members of the board, this Mount Vernon Disability Advisory Board that are in the room. And I wanted to, in particular, acknowledge the contribution of Ms. Josephine, who's no longer with us, who passed quite suddenly a week and a half ago or so, right? And so, but they put a lot of work in. So if you would kindly just raise your hands, just let the room know who you are, the Mount Vernon Disability Advisory Board members. Or acknowledge in some way.
Here.
Yeah. So I just wanted to thank them because they put a lot of work, we put a lot of work into revising this code.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
So I just want to send my condolences on the passing of Josephine. That's very shocking. I'm sorry to hear that. I know that she was very, I'm sorry, I know we're on roll call. I can speak to you guys afterwards. Despite not having a response from law department, I will support this.
Councilwoman Ferguson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye. Finance and planning.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an application for correction to the year 2017 county tax bill and directing the controller to issue a refund. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferguson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
I have an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an application for correction to the years 2017, 18, and 19 city tax bill and directing the controller to issue a refund. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferguson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
I have an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the city of Mount Vernon and Orlet for junior training and development, job corps administration, and career transition. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferguson.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
I have an ordinance to adopt the office zoning map of the city of Mount Vernon. I think it should be official. So let me read it again in correction. I have an ordinance to adopt the official zoning map of the city of Mount Vernon. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte. Aye. Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
I have a resolution creating a conservation advisory committee. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte. Aye. Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
I have a resolution to join New York State Climate Smart Community. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte. Aye. Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
I have an ordinance amending chapter 210 of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon entitled Retail and Commercial Establishments.
Yeah. 24, all right.
CBS.
Oh.
CVS.
Yes. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte. Aye. Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye.
Mr. President, if I may, with regard to item number 27, that's also a veto override. I did read the veto letter previously for the first item. The mayor combined his veto in one letter.
So, being that it was read, can I, Mr. President, can I read the veto override?
Yes.
I have an ordinance authorizing the city council to retain the firm of Cleary Consulting to provide planning, consulting for all land use and state environmental quality review act reviews and zoning applications. So moved.
Second.
On the question?
On the question, Mr. President, we did note that on the actual legislation, the mayor did attempt to make modifications to the city council's legislation. Those modifications are not to be applied. I do understand the mayor's intent, but I think that the legislation that we passed still stands without his marking up on our legislation. So I feel comfortable that the legislation that we did pass will.
Marking up
That's correct, sir.
legislation.
The legal modification of council's legislation, that's correct.
Thank you.
So moved.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte. Aye. Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye. Legislation and Public Works.
I have, so item number 28, I have an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute and extend the contract with PCI Industries for the resurfacing of various streets in the city of Mount Vernon, 2017. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Aye.
Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
Councilman Griffith.
Aye.
Council President Wallace.
Aye. That completes our legislation at this time. At this time, we're going to go straight into our speaking engagement, our speaking list. First up is Anthony Amiano. Anthony Amiano. Not here. Stefan Ritter. Stefan Ritter. I see him here. Glenn Harris.
Good evening, council.
At this time, tonight, we're going to be holding with my error earlier. Instead of 4 minutes, we have 3 minutes tonight. The buzzer will sound off at 2 minutes.
Glenn Harris, 629 South 6th Avenue, Mount Vernon. My subject matter was to be nullification and abandonment But I'm changing it up because I see there's a lot of things in legislation that the church is involved in, and the church had their hand heavily in how the political climate as it stands right now, they want to be involved. And I keep thinking about the church in Mount Vernon and how they abandoned Lowe's Moore. Lowe's Moore happens to be the coordinator for the Boys and Girls Club in Mount Vernon. When the churches come here and they petition to all the city council members to get this street, that house, that party, they come in droves. But they never come in here when you guys are up against the wall, the mayor, to support or help you when you have a fight in a dogmatic fashion. So I do believe in the separation of church and state. We have all these school facilities where we could go and hold any type of advancement of the next person to take the seat that is being held by the administrator in this town. We don't need the church involved with that. I like it when they want to have a party on the street or whatever, but the idea of the Constitution was the separation of church and state, to which Mount Vernon has run afoul of that. And the church itself was foul, and so because God commanded them not to curry favors and to pay unto Caesar what is due to Caesar. And these churches in Mount Vernon don't pay no damn taxes with us, so they have no right to influence who we put in legislation. But getting back to Lowe's Moore, he's the only man that has stood up and supported the children of this town day in and day out, but no one has ever come forward and recommended he do something for Mr. Moore. And why I bring this up is the other week when I caught myself in emotion about that young man that was run down, I stood up on my feet as a peacekeeper for 9 years on those very same block where this young man was run over. And he had us out there day and night. And the church, the so-called black church, abandoned Lowe's Moore when he petitioned them to give us more men out of the church to help us be peacekeepers. And the peacekeepers was taken down by a group of men who called them the ministers in Mount Vernon, and Lowe's Moore was a part of them. They have never come in and legislated for him. They've never recommended for nothing. They cheated on us as peacekeepers when those ministers refused to let the men in their church come to the streets of Mount Vernon because they were scared that their men may get harmed, and they were sitting in church, sitting under the dresses of the sisters in the church. So I put forth that we need not be involved with the black church or any church in Mount Vernon when it comes to the legislation of Mount Vernon. We, the citizens, have the right to hear you out, to any man run, have any woman run, and they have it in the school or a session place. But the citizens, who says the people of St. Antillia worship where the people in Grace worship, where the people in the other Baptist church worship, or the people who are Muslim worship? When you secondly put them in a place where they don't belong, that church is wearing a heavy hand on how those people think and who they offer forward. So again, I push this point to separate the church and state. And I do wish somebody from these churches to talk to us about Lowe's Moore. He's never failed the children, he's never failed us, but yet these churches won't recommend him, and he's a black minister along with being a youth leader. Thank you for your time.
Merrill Billy.
I'm Gilling. I'm a resident of Mount Vernon for over 37 years. 145 South 2nd Avenue, Mount Vernon.
Thank you.
A resident of Mount Vernon for over 37 years. I'm a taxpayer, voter, consumer, and have been employed by the city for approximately 30 years. I must admit this is the first time that I've seen this administration in such turmoil, and property taxes continue to rise. It is very disturbing to see grown adults fighting against each other because of authority and power, and in the meantime neglecting the needs of the city. This is unheard of and unacceptable and sets a bad example. It is extremely embarrassing to see on the news the numerous fights that with the mayor, comptroller, and council members. The city of Mount Vernon is turning into an undesirable place to live. These unnecessary actions are creating a lot of lawsuits, which is putting the city in more and more financial crisis and causing taxpayers to have to dig deeper and deeper into their pockets to support these mistakes. I can't believe we have outgoing mail piling up for over 3 weeks that can't get mail. These are important and time-sensitive mail. There are also times when there is a scarcity with copy paper due to unpaid bills. It has been reported that some of our old vendors have stopped providing us with supplies because of non-payments. When we elect someone to be in charge of running the city, we are expecting results. We need to be providing with basic services along with improvements. If we were to look in the mirror, it wouldn't be a pretty picture. As mentioned above, it is extremely embarrassing to be seen by other cities. No morals, no class, no dignity. How could we run a city in such unprofessional manner? The behavior we have seen has been childish. If we don't give respect, how do we expect to get respect in return? In order for this city to grow in the right direction, we need to stop fighting against each other. We need to come together as one and work together in love and harmony. We should act in a manner that reflects love, despite the differences. I came across this quote written by Albert Schweitzer. The purpose of human life is to serve, to show compassion, and the will to help others. Thank you.
Thomas.
Talbert Thomas, 31 Sherman Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, 40-year resident. Honorable President and esteemed members of the Council, first of all, let me thank you for your service. This is not an easy job. I'm here to really request information, and I can't attribute any factual quality to what I have to present right now, but there are a group of concerned citizens that are interested in a seemingly impending countdown, and we're looking to see if we can get information on this. But according to a communication from the county legislator, Lyndon Williams, the city is under an impending deadline of June 26 to complete the cleanup of Memorial Field or face heavy fines from the New York State DEC. And we'd just like to get some idea as to what's happening in regard to the closeout of this particular issue. Thank you.
Erwin Billy, I don't see him. Xavier Pritchett.
Xavier Pritchett, 40 East Sydney Avenue. I have several topics to speak about, and one thing that also concerned me is reduced limit to speak today. I think that there are a lot of pending problems in Mount Vernon, and the citizens, the residents, haven't been able to speak their mind and get true documentation and understand exactly what's going on. So I'm here to also propose that CCTV be installed in City Hall so that we can have a better understanding about the issues that are impending about Vernon. Also, the credit rating has been reduced. I would like some information on why that was so. I was told by the comptroller that it was because the mayor didn't file certain documentation, and I think that we should be working with the administration through their wrongs, so these don't hurt the residents. Also, I previously lived on William Street. It is William Street, and the sign was changed, and it's now Williams Street, and that is incorrect. We would like that change. Also, the prominent municipal lots, including the one that's across the street from the police department. My mom was down on her way here today because some of the stairs are missing proper edging. That's pretty much it. That's it. Thank you.
We'll call Anthony Aviano. Anthony Aviano, show up. Stefan Ritter. Irwin Billy. Okay, right now we're going to have responses from our council members. Council members, I'm going to request that I'm going to start first with just a couple of comments because because I am pressed for time, I have to leave because I have a debate with the churches. And I have to prepare because I'm running for mayor at 8:30 before. So with that being said, I'm just going to go straight to, I'm going to start really, Glenn Harris, you said it all, thank you for coming. Thank everybody for coming, first of all. We appreciate you all being here, bringing your concerns before the council, because whatever information we'll be able to give to you, we always direct where you can get the actual facts, which is either in the clerk's office or in the law department. Everything that's going on in the city is usually documented, so we would have information on it. Beryl, who happens to have the same name as my mother, the conditions of the streets, and the conditions of the city. We do our best to work with the mayor to get things done. Believe it or not, we've been trying for years. The mayor has his own agenda with certain things, and he just seems to do what he wants to do. Whether it breaks the law or not, he's going to do it. The conditions of the city, we do have a lot of problems, a lot of issues right now, and the bickering is not between the council, and the bickering is not between maybe the council and the controller. The bickering is between the controller and the mayor. We're just stuck in the middle because for some reason the mayor says that the controller and the council hasn't paid the bills. The council didn't pay bills. Our job is what we did earlier, legislate. What we do is we pass all these ordinances, all these legislation, and then this legislation moves on to the mayor's office. And it's the mayor's job who runs the day-to-day operation to make sure that everything we do here is fulfilled out there. So when we have problems and we do ordinance and stuff, it's up to the mayor to make sure. So as we pass certain things, just like, with the Disability Act and certain things, it's the mayor's job to make sure that these things are running, that the elevators are working, that the crosswalks are accessible, that we have, handicap ramps everywhere and all this stuff. All we can do is legislate. And then what we do is we write letters, we go back when we hear your complaints and your concerns, and we do what we can to try to mediate between all departments and try to make that work for the best of everybody to keep this city going. Memorial Field is on the move. We've done everything that the council is supposed to do. For a while, I've been going to court every Friday to push this through. Councilwoman Farquharson has been working on it. She's taken over. She's been doing it as well. Councilwoman Duarte has gone to court before. It's in the hands of the mayor. Right now, we waiting for the mayor to push these things through to do his job. He's just not doing it. There's nothing more we can do. We passed the legislation for Cornerstone to put out for the bidding, to remove the soil, that mound that is there. Once that mound is removed, the county can come in and start building out this park. But I can rest assured that I know you're looking for a deadline, we're probably going to have to move that and go into court again and waste money because the mayor has not acted, the mayor's attorney has not acted, but I know that the controller's attorney and our attorney is working with the state to try to make this happen while he's no show. But it is the mayor who has to step in and do this because he's in charge of the day-to-day operation. So if he's not going to move it forward, there's nothing more that the council's lawyers can do or the controller's lawyers can do because we've done everything that we can possibly do. So I'm looking forward to writing a letter, or hopefully I'll join this letter and join with Councilwoman Farquharson. We will write the county executive a letter, let him know exactly what's going on with that. And sidewalks, it's pretty much the same thing, sidewalks and streets. I live on Linden Avenue, right off of Williams Street. That has been changed. Yeah, it's supposed to be Williams. They added it.
One on the bottom will say Williams, one on the top say Williams.
I know, we had we had some challenges before. We even had to make a template to put stock on the floor because they was writing pots. Trust me, it is, we're gonna get it right. We're gonna get it right. And we're gonna stay on top of this administration until we do. And, no, sorry, it wasn't pots, it was spot instead of stop. Yeah, so we now made them have a template that you can just color in. So we will get things right, regarding to those things. And that's all I have to say for now. Thank you all for coming. I'm so happy that the disability stuff act was passed and updated and all. And thank Councilwoman Farquharson for working on that very hard and making that thing happen, which is a very important piece of legislation. So thank you all, and we're going to hear next from Councilman Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you everybody for coming out tonight. We appreciate you all. You know, the council is the only place that you can come and vet yourself, so we thank you for knowing that we're here and spreading your concerns. Like Council President said, we relay your concerns to the commissioners that need to hear it from you, and we hope we get a response from them. But like Council President said, we don't work here on a day-to-day basis. We come here in the evenings, we go to work during the day, and we kind of review the city like you do. We see something, we take it to the commissioners as well, and hopefully when we walk to them, they know that we're the voice of the people as well. So, thank you. Mr. Harris, thank you very much. Yes, Lowe's Moore is an excellent example of not only a religious leader, but also a recreational leader, a youth motivator, if you will, so we appreciate those. I do appreciate, however, most of the churches in the city, because they're providing a service for the community as well. And there's different types of pastors. Lowe's is one type of pastor. Some people don't even know he's a pastor, right? And then there's other type of pastors that are really out there. We have some major pastors that aren't as vocal and as out there as other pastors. And quite frankly, I think that the debate that the church had was a good service for the community, because all they really did was allow the community to use their venue, whereas a lot of people don't get to see inside that church or the other church. So I think it was a good thing, and I think the debate went off well. I think they ran it well. I don't think they led in any particular direction. I think it was just more for community information, or I hope that's what people took from it. But yes, you're right. Lowe's Moore is a great example of one of those types of pastors that just get it done, preach to people quietly, and we bring people in. So we thank you for that. Mrs. Billing, thank you very much. Everything you said was absolutely correct. I serve on a county group of elected officials, and I get a lot of feedback from what's going on in Mount Vernon as well. One thing I can tell you is that everybody's looking out for Mount Vernon that's outside of Mount Vernon. One of the things that we see is that a lot of Mount Vernonites beat up on Mount Vernon when they shouldn't be beating up on Mount Vernon. We still have the best people in the county. We have the best housing stock in the county. We have the best location. Yes, we may have some people in government that are not doing the right thing right now, but once we get that cleaned out, we're going to be a great city on the move. So don't give up on Mount Vernon yet. Amen. And we do know that people want our properties. So I tell people, don't sell your property yet. Ask for help, talk to your neighbors, see what's going on. Our property values are much lower than they should be. Let me put it like that. And if we get the right people in the administration to really see the vision that we have in Mount Vernon and bring everybody on board, there's no stopping our great city. So I'm a big fan of Mount Vernon. Mr. Thomas, good to see you, sir. I know Mr. Thomas for most of my life. Let me add 40 years. I'll say I've known Mr. Thomas. So yes, we have concerns about Memorial Field as well. I'm not worried about the deadlines because I know that the federal agencies and state agencies that are coming after Mount Vernon with these deadlines, there's only pressure to get it done, but they're going to give us the relief that we need once we know that we've done everything that we possibly can. And we've continued to move forward with removing the contaminated soil that needs to be removed. We fought back a little bit because the worst thing that could happen is that we could admit to something that's not true, and then the cost will be laid upon us as taxpayers. So this council absolutely has done a very delicate job of asking asking for assistance, but not admitting to a lot of guilt, right? Because our goal is to get the thing done with the lowest cost possible, with the best bang for the buck. We have our attorneys working for us, and our attorney is good. Thank goodness our attorney went in there and stopped the mayor from doing what he was doing down at the field. He damaged a piece of property down at the field, and we're gonna get hit with the repercussions of that sooner than later. So we need to look out for that. The county is a friend, and the county is rooting for us as well. So once we, again, get the right people in this administration, we're gonna move forward very swiftly with Memorial Field. But we're not gonna waste any money or admit to anything that's not true. And that's where this council steps up. So, Mr. Thomas, thank you very much. I'm sorry to hear that Mr. Billy, Mr. Ritter, and Mr. Amiano are not here tonight. But Mr. Pritchett, thank you, sir. Please continue to come out. It is as simple as what you just did. Let us know things that we did not know. So I didn't know about the Williams mix-up, so we need to call down to DPW. They need to get the little scraper and scrape that S off, so we can get that done. But it's a matter of us knowing and putting pressure on the right people. Another issue that we have that you may not know about, I don't know if anybody's paid their parking ticket lately or has been in the courthouse. The courthouse is hot. There's no air conditioner working, and that is 100% the city's responsibility to fix that courthouse. Somebody dropped the ball on fixing the courthouse, and it's been over a number of years. We're in a serious condition there, and it must be fixed. This council stood up and did something major to get that courthouse fixed, because if we don't get it fixed, this city is going to lose a lot of funding that we desperately need. And the mayor totally dropped the ball on fixing the courthouse, and we know that. And we are proud that the council stood up. We had some heavy hitters come into us and discuss it with us, and we did what needed to be done. And we did that to protect not only the citizens of Mount Vernon, but all the people that use the courthouse, and our employees, and the police, and the ticket people. So this council will continue to do the right thing. We don't always agree, but we always work it out, and we always do what's best for the city of Mount Vernon. So,
I'm sorry, what was done? You said something, you got something done?
right, so the council president didn't say this, but that's not the time I'm talking, but we basically did an RFP to put the specs in place so that we can get bids to get the air conditioner and the cleaning condition of the courthouse fixed. There was a brand new courthouse when the city built it, but we really hadn't done the upkeep that we needed to do year after year to keep it in pristine condition. We just let it fall. And that's why our costs are going to be so high at the end. Your house is much better, or your apartment is much better if you clean it on a regular basis or paint it on a regular basis, and you don't let things just fall apart. And this administration got stern warnings that the courthouse was falling apart and we were in desperate need of getting things fixed. And they did nothing, absolutely nothing. They came to this council, and this council passed legislation to get the RFP, request for proposals in, and we got those. We're going to get those proposals in, and we're going to make sure that courthouse is fixed. So when you know people are looking out for this city, I can tell you it's not the mayor's office. The mayor's office is going to do whatever he wants to do, whether it's for Mount Vernon or not. But this council is going to look out for the people of Mount Vernon. So we thank you all for coming out for whatever reason you're here tonight. And we're available to talk to you after this meeting. Our phone numbers are available. If you ever see me in the street, please ask me whatever question you have. And don't be confused about what you get in your email box, because a lot of that email stuff that you're getting is a bunch of nonsense. And just because it's in the newspaper or it's on the press or you saw it someplace doesn't mean that it's true. Ask one of us that know, and let us break it down to you. What poor information is being delivered to the people in Mount Vernon. It's got to stop. I pray it stops. Don't forget to vote on June 25th. Very important.
That's it. With that being said, I'm going to have to excuse myself at this particular time. Thank you all for coming. We are going to move into rotation. When I'm not here, it is the President Pro Tem that takes over at this particular time, so they will sit at these desks right now and just close this out as well after the others are answered. Thank you.
And while they're moving, I just want to say clearly, the church that's having this forum tonight should have known that this was a council night. The council meets the second and fourth Wednesday of every month, with the exception of July and August. So there's absolutely no reason why there should be a mayoral forum where two members of the council are running for mayor. They should have a forum this night. It is just not good planning. So we don't quite understand that. It just has to be said. This is not the night for a forum. We are required to change.
Thank you, Councilmember Griffith. So I'll proceed to Councilmember Ferguson for your comments.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. So good evening to the community. Thank you for being here. It is, a great example of democracy in action that you come and speak to your elected, because that's how you hold us accountable. So thank you for being here. Mr. Harris, I hear you when you say that the acknowledgement that Mr. Moore deserves, he has not received from some in this community. The good thing is that you are acknowledging him, and I think that's outstanding. So thank you for always being here, for bringing things to our attention that we need to have brought to our attention. Thank you very much. Ms. Billing, I hear you, piling up of mail, the fighting between the elected, and how this has brought shame on our city. And I agree with you that this should not be allowed. And, this kind of, or this presentation or perspective of chaos is trying to control the narrative for whatever reason. But it should not be at the expense of folks who are getting, who should be getting mail in a timely manner. So we need to have that addressed, and I don't know how that's being addressed right now. If there's any kind of conditional response that we can put in. But we want to make sure that the business of the city is as little interrupted as possible as we make our way painfully through this period in our history. But like Councilman Griffith, I too believe that our better days are ahead. And so, we will just have to kind of grin and bear until we get through this experience as best we can. Mr. Thomas, thank you for coming, sir. So I think what the DEC expectation is that we will present a remediation plan and an expected completion date, like an action plan is what they want. Again, that's the purview of the mayor's office and the commissioner's office. It's nothing that the city council can do. And we've kind of been through this before, but like Councilman Griffith said, we will work our way through that as well. So, because these bodies, these state bodies are not unreasonable entities, the sky may be cracked, but it's not falling. Mr. Pritchett, is that referred to? Thank you for coming. Thank you for bringing those things to our attention. It's really encouraging to see a young person doing that and standing up to speak, so I hope you will continue to do that. And I'm going to say that the things that you brought to our attention, you brought it to the attention of the City Council. If I could just ask you and impress on you to do just one step further and to just put that in writing to the appropriate department. So many of those things are for the DPW, the parking bureau, I think, does the signs, but you can probably just do the same letter and copy the parking bureau as well. But I would, I think that would be another service that you could do, because what you would have done is documented it for posterity. So that is then their responsibility to act. So I hope you can do that for us. Thank you all for coming and for participating.
Thank you everyone for coming tonight. I'm going to try to keep it brief because I believe my council members have already said a lot. So Mr. Vernon, thank you for coming and highlighting some of our stand-up members of the community. And yes, Moore is one of those individuals who connection with the youth and continues to provide so much guidance and support and through the Boys and Girls Club, but also through his ministry. So thank you for highlighting him. With regards to the applications for these street and block parties, those applications are available to everyone, to all churches of all denominations, to the private residents, to the public. We don't discriminate when it comes to that particular type of legislation. So I just want to be clear that it is an application and an opportunity that's available to everyone. Mrs. Billing, thank you so much for coming and so eloquently sharing your concerns, and you're so right in how you've framed it. We have a lot of good people in the city. We have a lot of good, hardworking people in the city, and certainly our residents deserve a functioning government that reflects that and provides the services that they deserve. That being said, we do have many challenges. Aside from the discord and the chaos that we see, we do have many major challenges that the city is facing. That brings me to how important our relationships and our partnerships, not just amongst each other, but also outside of the city, will be critical in helping us address those major challenges so that we can come through this. And with that said, I would just move on to Mr. Thomas with regards to the DEC. And yes, again, a partnership that's been vital in this process has been the county, and they are committed. The county executive has been very clear that he is committed to support the city to get the memorial field completed. And so it is incumbent upon us to continue to support that partnership and do everything that we can. And as I agree with what has been said, in that the council is making every effort that we can within our authority to do so. And I believe because of what we have done, the legislation that we have passed, the movement that we have made with regards to the testing of memorial fields, and moving on to now the remedial action plan has been conditionally approved by the DEC. So now it's about preparing the bids so that we can present a timeline, which is what they are requesting of us. Those milestones of progress have been made primarily because of the efforts the council has made. So we are doing, despite everything, we are doing in the most positive and constructive way we can. We're making every effort to keep the ball rolling. And certainly leveraging our relationship with the county is key. And Mr. Pritchett, thank you so much for coming out tonight and expressing your concerns. You started off saying you had so many, but yet you were actually succinct and really to the point, and I love that. So thank you so much, because you did a great job in identifying all of the issues of your concern. So yes, the street sign, the municipal lot, all of those issues are issues that can be directed to the DPW department as well as parking. And those are things that we can definitely help follow up on and support you in that. With regards to the credit rating, just to answer your concerns there, the challenge there is that we have not filed completed audited financial reports for a few years. And that is what the Moody's rating agency has cited as the reason for withdrawing our rating. That has consequences, and one of the major consequences is that it impacts our ability to go to the capital markets and borrow money so that we can invest in capital projects like fixing the municipal lot or sidewalks or new equipment, or so a number of things that we need to upgrade, including the city court facility. But that being said, the council has passed legislation to authorize certain audits to be completed and accounting to be completed for agencies that are not under our purview, but they are under the purview of the mayor. But yet we have still done our part to pass legislation to allow those entities to complete their part of the audit, so that we can get to that step and to be able to reapply for our rating. So yes, there are many things that have fallen through the cracks, but yet, despite all of that, the small steps that can be made are being made, and those efforts are being followed through on by this council. So with that said, thank you everyone for coming tonight. Really, really appreciate it. This is the most valuable part of our democracy, and that you have the opportunity to come and speak your voice and your mind and share your concerns with this body. So thank you. With that said, is there any other business for us to discuss this evening?
If I may, I'd like to ask that we close moment of silence in, to honor the memory of Miss Josephine. What's her last name? Hollis. Miss Josephine Hollis. I'd like us to do that, please. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call on adjournment. Councilwoman Duarte. Aye. Councilwoman Farquharson.
Aye.
And Councilwoman.
Aye.